The phrase, "forbidden fruit tastes the sweetest," has been ingrained in human culture for centuries, reflecting the allure of things that are off-limits. Whether in literature, religion, psychology, or everyday life, the idea that people are drawn to what they cannot have is a universal truth. But why does the forbidden hold such appeal? The answer lies in a combination of psychological, societal, and even biological factors that make restriction itself an irresistible force. One of the primary reasons forbidden things seem more desirable is psychological reactance, the natural human tendency to resist restrictions on freedom. When something is forbidden, it triggers a deep-seated instinct to reclaim autonomy. This is particularly evident in childhood. A child told not to touch a certain toy suddenly finds it the most interesting object in the room. This reaction does not fade with age, but instead manifests in different ways, such as the allure of rebellious behavior in adolescence or the draw of exclusive and secretive experiences in adulthood. The very act of being told no sparks curiosity, making the restricted object or action appear more valuable simply because it is out of reach. Another psychological factor at play is the scarcity principle, a concept popularized by behavioral economist Robert Cialdini. When something is limited, whether by law, social norms, or exclusivity, its perceived value increases. Luxury brands thrive on this principle, creating artificial scarcity to make their products seem more desirable. People often want what they cannot easily obtain, whether it is a rare item, an exclusive experience, or a forbidden romance. The same applies to anything labeled as off-limits. Its inaccessibility heightens its appeal. Society also plays a significant role in the attraction to the forbidden. Cultural and religious taboos shape human desires by labeling certain actions, relationships, or substances as off-limits. Throughout history, romanticized stories of forbidden love, from Romeo and Juliet to modern tales of star-crossed lovers, have captivated audiences because they tap into the universal yearning for something unattainable. The thrill of breaking a rule, whether minor or major, adds an adrenaline rush that makes the experience more memorable and enticing. Societal norms dictate what is acceptable, and in doing so, they inadvertently create a hierarchy of desire, where the most restricted things become the most tempting. Religion, too, reinforces the idea that the forbidden is appealing. The biblical story of Adam and Eve presents one of the earliest examples of the forbidden fruit metaphor. Despite having access to the abundance of Eden, they were drawn to the one thing they were explicitly told not to have, the fruit from the tree of knowledge. This story serves as a lesson about temptation, free will, and the consequences of indulgence, but it also reflects an intrinsic part of human nature. The more something is prohibited, the more it is desired. This theme repeats itself across many religions and cultures, emphasizing that resistance to temptation is a moral challenge precisely because of how strong the temptation is. Biologically, the brain reacts to forbidden things in a way that reinforces their appeal. The neurotransmitter dopamine, associated with pleasure and reward, surges when people engage in risky or forbidden behavior. This chemical reinforcement makes the experience feel even more rewarding, encouraging individuals to seek out similar situations again. Studies in neuroscience have shown that the anticipation of a reward often generates more dopamine than actually receiving the reward itself. This means that the chase, the pursuit of the forbidden, is often more pleasurable than the actual act of obtaining it. This is why people can become addicted to the thrill of rebellion, secrecy, or rule-breaking. The idea of the forbidden extends beyond personal experiences and into broader societal issues. Governments and institutions often place restrictions on certain substances, behaviors, or media, only to find that prohibition increases demand. The Prohibition era in the United States during the 1920s is a prime example. Outlawing alcohol did not eliminate consumption, but instead made it more desirable and lucrative, fueling organized crime and underground speakeasies. Similarly, modern censorship of books, movies, or political ideas can have the unintended effect of making them more popular. When something is restricted, people assume it must contain something valuable or dangerous, increasing curiosity and demand. The concept of forbidden fruit is also evident in interpersonal relationships. People are often drawn to individuals who are unattainable, whether because of societal barriers, romantic obstacles, or personal challenges. The psychological phenomenon known as the Romeo and Juliet effect suggests that romantic relationships facing external opposition tend to intensify rather than diminish. This is because obstacles create a sense of urgency, passion, and defiance that strengthens emotional bonds. The idea that one must fight for love or defy the odds to be with someone makes the relationship feel more meaningful. Marketing and advertising industries have long exploited the appeal of the forbidden to drive sales. The use of provocative imagery, suggestive messaging, and exclusivity in branding taps into the consumer's desire for what is restricted or unattainable. Words like limited edition, secret formula, or banned in some countries immediately trigger curiosity. The idea that a product is controversial or rare can make it significantly more attractive. This is why products that were once banned or restricted often gain cult followings when they become available. Ultimately, forbidden fruit tastes so good because of the way human psychology, society, and biology interact. Restrictions spark desire, scarcity amplifies value, and the brain rewards risk with pleasure. Whether it is a literal indulgence, a rebellious act, or a forbidden relationship, the allure of the off-limits is a fundamental part of human nature. This phenomenon is unlikely to change, as it is woven into the fabric of human behavior. The more we are told we cannot have something, the more we want it, ensuring that the appeal of the forbidden will always remain a powerful force in human desire.